From the top shelf of the Adventurers Nightclub, we bring you Beverage et Toi. If your desk or coffee table is always occupied by the three most desirable beverages, one for energy, one for hydration, and one just for fun, then you're just the kind of three-drink fiend Buka made this coaster for.
Thanks, Buka.
It lusciously rotates so you can salaciously see which drink is on which coaster for easy access to the beverage you desire. Drop in to Second Wind's DFTBA store
And treat yourself.
It comes in a 4-pack so you can share one, because we know you've got a friend you want to share more than a coaster with.
Yeah, I almost did that at the correct timing. It was a little bit off, but that's fine. Hey, everybody. Welcome to RPG Help Desk. Another week of talking about fun RPG stuff because for some reason, everybody, by everybody, I mean me, really enjoys it, and our people keep showing up. So hi, thanks for doing that. It lets me do cool stuff, like talk to my friend Jessa about DMing with ADHD, a topic that we're both very familiar with as ADHD people with that DM. But please, Jessa, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jessa, aka Astral Marmot. I run a YouTube channel that is specifically about helping game masters who have ADHD get better organizational and life tips that help them to run their game. So that is me. I've been DMing for about 20 years now. It's a lot of fun. DMing and GMing, I suppose. Lots of different games that I've been running in that time. And that is me.
I feel like we need to take the phrase DM and change its meaning for all RPGs, like Danger Manager or something like that.
Ooh, I like that. I agree with that.
Yeah. It's like GM, already a car company. Also, just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
All right, sweet. You're gonna help everybody. We're changing it to Danger Manager from now on. Please inform everybody at your tables. All right. So, ADHD and DMing. We are both ADHD people. We both DM. I was very excited when you were like, yeah, I'll talk about this for the show because I think it matters so much. It's very helpful. So if anybody has questions specifically about ADHD and DMing, about being a player with ADHD, or just about RPG stuff in general, ask because we like answering questions. But I wanted to ask specifically about your organizational strategy because it is something that we differ on in how our brains work to organize things. And I find yours, I think, very fascinating and probably helpful to a lot of people. So I was curious if you wanted to explain kind of how you organize the vast amounts of information and stuff and like what you do specifically in game for your table.
So I would say the two biggest things that help me out organizationally. One is that I record all of my games. I think that it is something that just absolutely makes a tremendous amount of difference. And so when I am prepping, I will go back and listen to the previous session on double speed and take notes from it and then draft out a little summary of the game to like read at the beginning of the next game, but also to take notes and just to interpret things. And it helps me immensely. It means that it frees me up from having to take notes during the game. And I found that that is just enormous. Like being able to actually focus on the game, be in the moment, not worry about like, ooh, did I write that NPC's name down or not? Like, you know, just having that recording has made a tremendous amount of difference for running games for me. It's something that I recommend for absolutely every ADHDM. So that's one really big tip for me. In terms of an organizational strategy, I have recently, and I say recently, but it's been a couple of years now, fallen in love with using Miro.com.
What website?
Is an online, it's Miro.com. So it's an online whiteboard app. And I know that there are other services out there. I'm not shilling specifically for Miro just because they're the one that I happen to use. But there are other whiteboard apps that are out there. I know that Obsidian, which is a free note-taking tool, has a very similar whiteboard function built within it. I have not played with it, but I've found that using a visual whiteboard has made a tremendous amount of difference in terms of organizing my game, because I can just throw everything onto it. I can throw pictures on there. I can throw text on there. I can have line graphs. I can have flow charts. I can have whatever it is that I need that makes sense for my brain. And it's all centrally located in one place. And I think that's really big for me. For me, having everything in one location is huge. Like, I need everything to be centralized, because if it's not, then I don't know where something is. I've already lost it. It's already gone.
Yeah. Object permanency, ADHD problems, where if you are not observing it, it doesn't exist.
Exactly. The moment I set it down, it's just gone. And so Miro is highly searchable and linkable, and it allows me to have everything that I need just in one place that I am have very, very easy access to. I cannot advocate for it enough. It changed the way that I DM. It allows me to link pictures, to have I'm able to find I use a lot of art in my games, right? When I'm running games online. And so being able to know who the original artist is and to be able to link back to them is really, really huge for me as well. Just being able to actually credit artists that I am using their art and taking their pictures.
It's also helpful because if you like that particular thing, then I can go back to this person to find more stuff.
I know where they are. I can find more stuff from them. Exactly. Miro is an incredible resource, and I really cannot advocate for it enough. But I really think centralization and then being able to go back and revisit your sessions are two of the big organizational tips that I would put out there.
Okay. I really like that too for pictures, and this is a thing of association that I'm not sure if this is fully ADHD or just a me thing, but if it's if I can I need information on this character, and if I could just drag a picture of Kermit's head, Kermit the Frog, on a horse body, and I'm oh yeah, I remember everything I need to about this character. This is the voice, this is the tone, instead of a wall of text that in the moment I will absolutely not read through. And forget everything.
I tried so many different ways to track NPCs, and I've just found that when you have the wall of text, you put all this information in. It feels like a good idea at the time when you're doing prep, but when it comes to the actual session, you never read it, right? It's not something you're going to read in the moment. And so I had to readjust and be okay, this feels like it's a good use of my time during prep, but in actuality, I'm not using this during the session. It's not really of benefit to me. What am I actually using? And what I found is that if any text is going to be valuable, and this is an idea I actually stole from Alexandrian, I think, is to I just have a picture of them, and then I have one phrase that they might say in their voice up at the top. Just a thing that they would say that puts me in their head for what their voice is like, so that I can read that in the moment. And that's all I'm going to read during the session. That's all I'm going to have time for is I'm going to pull up their file. I'll see that. And that's all I need to trigger them and to get into, back into that character's voice, whatever it is. Right.
Yes. I did the exact same thing I find that, and I think we talked about this before when we were talking about doing voices for characters, is that yes, have a phrase that is what they would say. It helps you get into that. It helps you remember what their dialogue is, if they have if they speak in slang, or if they speak how they do it, all these things that you can put into that one sentence. Or if it's a quote, because it's this is my this character is my bad Robert De Niro impression, so it's just a Robert De Niro quote that I'm going to butcher.
Yes, exactly. And I find that a minimal approach like that, or minimalist approach like that, is much more beneficial to me during the actual session. I've really had to because when I first started out, I was definitely walls of text person. Like I was putting in way too much information, because I wanted to store all of this information somehow. It's in my head, right? And there is benefit to writing it down so that you don't forget it. But when it comes to the actual utility of like in the session, am I actually using this? You have to be really rigorous about like, okay, is this actually coming up for me? Am I actually reading this? Is this actually benefiting me during the moment that I need it to? And it really wasn't, right? Like having all of that text just doesn't help me. Having a small blurb of text, and then if there's some vital piece of information about them that I really don't want to forget, having a couple of bullet points below there, that's it. That's all you really need.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I think bullet points are like one of the biggest things that are so helpful. Just, quick bite-sized bits of information, not even whole sentences. Very nice.
Absolutely.
What do you do for, and Meredith D bringing up says, I just had a long Google Doc. I'm curious, Meredith, do you like keep your tabs of like title, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and like, is it that organized on the side, or is it just like a 400-page raw Google Doc? Because I want to know.
Yeah, the raw Google Doc is real though. Like, let's get real. That is a very, very common ADHDM thing.
And they're just like, oh, I'll just add this. Oh, I'll just add this. Oh, I'll just add this. And like, no, it grows exponentially. And I don't think, if I use a Google Doc, I don't think about organization when I'm putting it together. And then that becomes a foundation of quicksand as I try to add to it. And I'm like, oh, but where were just NPC voices? Where was location on map?
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that. And I will say that there are plenty of DMs out there who do use the Google Doc method and they use it successfully. I have run into them. I know that they exist. So it is a valid way to organize your stuff. It just didn't work for me because it was too, like you said, a foundation of quicksand. It just wasn't solid enough for me to be able to reference it easily. And that's something that I want, is I want something that I can reference in the game, right? And so a Miro board being visual, I think the fact that it is a visual medium helps a tremendous amount. The fact that like I can like engage with it visually, engage with it using pictures makes a huge difference.
Oh my gosh, totally agree. Really good question from Scrubby that I wanted to bring up. And like, again, if you all have questions, feel free to ask. And I have a few other things, but I really wanted to say this, or wanted to bring up this question of Scrubby saying, I've had this problem for a while, but how do you get over the brick wall of actually writing down what you were excited about for ideas and characters before you sat down? So like, when you've got all the cool stuff in mind, and then you sit down and you're like, oh, I have to write this. And it's the brick wall. How do you... Go ahead.
Oh, how do I get over it? The unfortunate answer to this, and it's the answer to a lot of ADHD problems, is discipline. Like, you just have to write. You just have to sit down and start writing. Even if the writing feels like crap, and you're like, the thing that's in my head is not the thing that is showing up on the paper, you just have to keep... Like, at least this is the strategy that works for me, because otherwise I just won't write anything. And that's a problem. So what I just do is I sit down and I start writing, even if it's absolute trash. And usually what happens is after a page or two, it starts to resolve itself into something that I want it to be. It's really about getting past that initial hump. Like, I totally hear you. Was it Scrubby? Like, you getting past that initial brick wall is a real nightmare. But like, what I've told myself is I'm allowed to write crap for the first page, right? Like, I'm allowed to just write nonsense. It can be absolute crap. It can be not what I want it to be. And then translate that. And then after a while, it will start to resolve into something that I need it to be. And then I just delete that first page and I never have to think about it again. Like,
yep. Anything that was useful in it, you will probably remember later. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Let me write this down.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just make yourself do it. Set a time limit. Set a timer for yourself and say, I'm just going to write for an hour. Like, that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to write. Doesn't matter how bad it is. Doesn't matter how good it is. I'm just going to write for an hour. And then just sit down and do it. And eventually it will turn into the thing that you want it to be. or at least some approximation of it.
Yeah.
Results are not guaranteed.
I think that's all really good. I would also say like this is for you. So things like structure currently don't matter. Like if you just have uh, an NPC idea and you just jot down stuff, and then you have an idea for a town and you jot stuff down, then you have an idea for an adventure, like a little side project that, side quest that might happen later, just jot it down. Organization doesn't matter at this point. How these are connected doesn't matter at this point. Just start putting things down so that you have something, so it's not a blank page, and something that you can pull from later, something that helps channel your ideas and your efforts. It can be totally fragmented. It does not matter. Just cool stuff. There's also a writing exercise. I don't know if you've ever done this. I hate this exercise partially because it works and that frustrates me to no end. But if you set a timer for 15 minutes and all you are allowed to do is non-stop type. It does not matter what you are typing. It is just a stream of consciousness, and it just helps get your brain in a space where putting ideas from head to type is more conducive. It's more like understandable. It's like, I got to think about the other things. You just focus on that. You're going to delete it. It doesn't matter. But like you could try to do cool things, but the thing is that you just cannot stop the entire time. And I hate that it works. And it might not work for everybody.
It's a really good exercise to do. Another one that I've found that you might enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
Is the bad ideas one, and you need a partner for this. You need somebody who you can like work with. I cannot advocate enough for having another GM buddy that you can talk to about your GMing and your like the things that you do. But if you've got a buddy that you can call, someone who isn't playing your game that you can just bounce ideas off of, the idea is that you call each other and you can only give each other bad ideas. The idea is to come up with as many bad ideas as you possibly can. Because what's very funny about coming up with bad ideas is that you will accidentally come up with good ideas while you're doing it. You will, by just the nature of doing the exercise, you'll be like, okay, this is a terrible, wait a minute, I could actually make that work.
Mm-hmm.
I could actually make that into a thing. And then all of a sudden you'll find that you're having good ideas in the process of having bad ideas. It takes all of the pressure off of you to have good ideas, but they will bubble up naturally as a result. And also it's just really fun and funny to come up with dumb ideas that like absolutely will not work. It's a very low stakes way to get some good ideas for your game.
That is. And also just when someone else is like firing off ideas at you and like they think it's dumb, but you might think it's cool, or they start an idea and that triggers something in you and you're like, oh, but if you do like, and you're already thinking about the cool conclusion and then their actual idea is not that, it just had the same starting point. Like, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. It's a great creative exercise. I strongly recommend it.
I may message you on Discord and just be like, hey, it's bad idea time. Are you in? Like, let's.
Anytime. I'm always down to bounce bad ideas off. Anytime you want.
Awesome. Another thing that I know helps me is switching tasks. If I'm trying to just write something down, is like sometimes having a timer works, sometimes it doesn't. And it's just like, I'm just going to write this idea down and I'm going to do another thing. And I'm going to come back and then I'm going to write this idea down and I'm going to clean for a moment. And then I really have found that helps when I go to the gym and just between reps is just pull out phone, type something down, set down, back to huffing and puffing, go back. All right. And like that break takes pressure off of I have to be writing down or I'm not being productive. And gives me a time and space to just think about things and be like, well, what if that? Or what can I do next? Or just have a completely different thought and then jot that one down too.
Yeah, well, and the benefit of that too, especially, I love the idea of like taking notes while you're working out, because then the primary focus is the workout. It's not actually the taking notes. right? Which means that all the pressure is off of you, right? Like you're like, oh, I'm just jotting down ideas as they come. It's not a big deal, right? Or maybe a voice memo if that's easier for you. I find it easier to write stuff down because I'm more likely to look at something that I've written down than I am to go back and listen to something that I have spoken. But that depends on the person, right? Like you totally find what works best for you. But I love the idea of, yeah, taking a break, while you're working out, you're like, okay, doing my sets, do my reps, and then take a note and then go back to the reps because it gives you that space to process it and to think about it and to engage with it. But the focus is still on the workout. That's the thing that you're actually doing. It's a little different when you sit down and you're like, the thing I am doing is writing. And then you get that big brick wall.
Yeah. And Scrubby, I think the other, what I personally find for myself is that the same answer doesn't work every time. Is that some days I'm more distracted than others, and I need to switch tasks. Some days I can focus a little harder, and I need to just do the sit down 15-minute write, or like the bad ideas, or the something that like is more set, and I'm not doing a bunch of things. And it really depends. So like, don't think this is the correct method and it'll work every time. Or if it does for you, great. But if it doesn't, you're not alone.
Something really important to understand about, and this applies to any technique or method or strategy that you are ever going to apply to your ADHDing, whether in gaming or in life, is that we are creatures who crave variety. And that means that we need variety in our methods as well. That means that one method is not always going to work. We need a variety of methods that we can switch back and forth in between and to in order to get the results that we want. And so knowing that about yourself, knowing, okay, like this one method, like sometimes like something will be working for me for about 2 weeks and I'm like, this is fantastic. I have found the answer. This is going to be the thing that changes everything. And then it just stops working. And I'm like, what the, but you were working so well. Why did you betray me like this? And it's just because like we crave variety. We need variety in our methodologies. And so being able to change methods, having an array of tools in your toolkit and being able to switch in between them, I think is really, really crucial to successful ADHD management. And that applies to the game, that applies to life in general.
100% agree with that. Yeah. Also helpful in life. And to not be down on like, this is more of a me thing, but to not be like, oh, this didn't work this time. Oh, there's something wrong. Or like, oh, I failed. It's like, just accept that you got to try different things at different points. It's okay. Very easy to say, much harder to internalize.
Very much so. Very much so. We do tend to blame ourselves a lot for things. One of my recent videos was talking about rejection sensitivity dysphoria, and which is for those who aren't aware, it is one of the most common symptoms of ADHD, and it has to do with being extremely sensitive to rejection, to the point that we will often structure our lives in such a way that we avoid rejection or even the perception of rejection. We will tend to, as a result, internalize anything negative that happens, right? Like, oh, this method isn't working. I am broken. Not the method is broken. I am broken. And so being able to stop that line of internal thinking and get back into a positive mindset of like, no, it's just the method. I just need to try a new method. That's all.
Yep.
It's extremely helpful.
Henry over Twitch saying rejection is better than regret. You're not wrong in practicality. However, deep brain state is like, no. Rejection is worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, you have regrets about the rejections. So that's just, you just like to compound all of that.
Yeah,
but that is very wise, Henry.
Henry, I'll say failure is the mother of success. Yeah, absolutely. The first step in being good at something is being bad at it.
100%.
Very primitive, Jesse. I mean, yeah, that's lizard brain. It's just like, I fear this, therefore avoid it. Scrubby, let us know if that answers your question. If not, then we'll try again. Meredith D had a question too, not directly related, but kind of, because this happens to me too. Saying I have my best ideas while driving, then struggle to document it. Voice recording is very helpful in that regard. Just having something that you can quickly, either an app on your phone if it's like on and available, or a dedicated just press button, talk into it, release kind of thing. That could be very helpful. I guess if you have voice, be like, "Hey Siri, take this note down,"
Mm-hmm.
because if you've got a good idea, it's kind of like having, it's like, "Oh, my good ideas at night." Cool. Keep a notepad next to your bed and just scribble it down,
Mm-hmm.
and then hopefully you'll be able to read your handwriting and whatever fever dream of an idea you wrote down. But yeah, because don't type while driving.
Yeah, try not to do that. This is a tip that I picked up from Tom Waits, actually.
Oh?
In the exact same scenario, he was talking about the difficulties he would have when he was driving down the freeway in LA. And this was pre-smartphone, too. So there was no voice memo. There was nothing. And he would get a snatch of a song, and he wanted it. It was beautiful. He wanted to capture it. He wanted to turn it into something. But he's driving. He has no way to capture it. And so what he did was he turned to the empty seat in the car next to him, and he said, "Excuse me, can't you see that I'm driving? Why don't you come back at a time that I can actually help you to exist? And if not, go bother Leonard Cohen or something." Like, the idea being that you have to develop a relationship with your own creative energy, right? Like the creative spirit that comes to you, don't let it dictate everything. You should be able to tell it occasionally, like, "Hey, guess what? We're doing creative work now. You can show up." Or if it's going to show up at inconvenient times, be like, "Hey, come back at a time that I can actually help you to live."
That's adorable, and I love that.
I know. I love Tom Waits.
Jabri saying Sharpie on the windshield is a bad idea. I mean, it's better than typing on your phone. I'll give it that.
I would agree.
Because at least it's still like your eyes are in front of you. For legal and moral reasons, I'll still say, no, don't do it. But for some reason, if you have to, it is the better of the two options.
I will say, too, if you can't get to your phone, you can't type, you can't do anything like that, start acting like, let's say you get an idea for an NPC, right? Start acting it out. Start acting it out right then and there. Just like with nobody else in the car, pretend like you're at the table, pretend like you're doing it, start acting it out, because that will put it into your brain.
Mhm.
That will help it stick within your mind so that when you get somewhere, you actually have something of substance.
Yeah, I totally
down.
agree. If you can't act it out or kind of create the scenario, just start verbalizing it. Start talking about it. Start like as if you were telling it to someone else. There was a history teacher that I had who, I don't know if this is true, but I found it to be very helpful. He was like, "Hey, everything," he very much was like, "I'm never going to try and trick you to the answer. Everything that's on test is going to be, I am saying it or writing it on the board. Like, it will be very clear what answers are. When you have your notes, take your notes and like quiz yourself verbally and quiz yourself on text. Like, you have to write answers and you have to say answers. And the more ways you distribute that information and like attempt to assimilate it, the better chance you are to remember it. And that absolutely helped me. So if you have a thought, cool, start verbalizing it. That will help you remember it.
100%.
Meredith, if that answers your question, let us know. If not, we'll try again. Also, I'm curious if other people have suggestions. I know a few people saying the Google Voice Recorder, and some other stuff that's, like little voice memo stuff. Very helpful. WhatsApp has one, Google Assistant. Yeah, super useful. I'm gonna. I think I understand this question, Squirtle Squad. Squirtle Squad asks, how many steps or what's your process for, quote, idea in head to idea on paper to idea using at table? So, like, I have idea, I guess, what is your process between, oh, here's a cool thing that I could do at the table to actually executing it for players?
For me, it's pretty simple. I have an idea. I will go to my Miro board and I will put it on a sticky note usually. And then I will go back to the sticky notes that I have made and I will flesh them out. And then I run it into the game. So it's a pretty tight process, honestly, getting it like from my brain into the game. A lot of times I find if it's a really like good like flashbulb idea, it's gonna stick with me no matter what.
Mm.
And so like I don't need to write an essay about it. I can usually like get a sticky note down about it and like that's sufficient for me. Um,
Wow.
but that's also something that comes with experience, I think. Like when you're first starting out, you may need to write more, you may need to say more, you may need to do more.
Ideas that stay with you. What is that like? Just
It only applies to D&D. I wish I could make it apply to the rest of my life, but it doesn't. Like it only applies when I'm playing games. Like I get a brilliant idea for something that like I want to happen in the game, and then I can go to Miro, which I have on my phone and I have on my desktop. I just put it into a sticky note there, and then during my prep, I will review the sticky notes that I've put together and be like, oh yeah, that was a good idea. I need to expand on that, or that was not such a good idea. Maybe I should ignore that.
mm-hmm. That's the helpful bit on that is being like, "Ooh, here's where I can edit this," or like, "Oh, I thought
Mhm.
this was a good idea," and then I start taking it in a new direction, and like, okay, I gotta kind of change this a little bit.
Mhm.
Um,
But again, having that central repository where all of my ideas live, along with all of my campaign notes and all of my pictures and all of my everything, just makes a huge difference.
mhm.
Because then difference for that idea is all in one place.
Yeah. If I used that same thing, that's probably how I would do it. I generally just write down the thing that I'm excited about with the idea. So, like your idea in head, what am I excited about? Is it a joke? Like there's a word play I want to do at the table. All right, cool. I'll pretty much only focus on that, work backwards, and then be like, oh, sweet. Here's how I get there. And like, pretty much I usually don't do this as a physical thing, but mentally and kind of within bullet points, just make a flow chart of like, I want to wind up here. How? And then in that, with being a DM, being like, well, how can I incorporate my players' wants and needs into this? How can I incorporate the place that they currently are? How can I, and then start adding kind of more stuff to that. And depending on how intricate it is, that might become a big part of a story, or oh, it'll tie into this like secret item that I can give a character, or these other things. Or it might be, I have a very stupid joke that I need people to hear.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the whole thing is I'm just going to say this at one point.
I
Um,
definitely make good use of flowcharts in my on my Miro board. And I'm a little more meticulous about it, I think, than many GMs, just because I've learned that that's what my brain needs. But like I will definitely like your idea of working backwards is really, really crucial. Like grab the thing that you want and then go backwards and start to add things onto it as necessary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that's I guess our process. I
Yeah,
mean,
I hope that answers the question. It's hard to talk about your process, I've found.
yeah, because
Um,
there's also like ways of like there's some things where I will do like deep dives and like write a whole bunch of stuff about this area and where it came from and the history, and it's like this is for me. Like this is not information that
mhm,
I am sharing unless somebody like really asks about it, and then I have it ready and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited you asked. Let me tell you about the history of this
mhm,
town you're in. But most of the time it's just for me that I use when I need to make snap decisions of like, oh, okay,
mhm.
I know this character's backstory. Here's how they would react to that. I know what this area has been through. Here's how the people here would react to this kind of thing. That
Yes.
is very much just for me as decision making background noise.
I think that's one of the most important things that you learn early on in your game mastering adventure is what is for me and what is for the players. And when
Yes.
you can how to make that distinction, your GMing and your prep especially will improve overnight. Right? Because you will suddenly understand, okay, like I love making maps. I am a huge map maker. I will make maps all day, every day. I don't need to make as many maps as I do. And I am aware of that. I make maps for me because I enjoy making maps. And my players appreciate the maps, but you know what? They would also appreciate a bunch of lines drawn on a thing, and because they all have imaginations, and they were totally fine with that too. They know that I'm doing it for me. I know that I'm doing it for me. But once I understood that this is not actually a vital part of my prep, right? Like this is not crucial to the game itself. If I'm in a time crunch, I know what I can drop, right? Like I know what I can set down and be like, oh, okay, I don't have time for that now. Alas, no map for this session, but that's okay because we don't really need one. The map was for me anyway. And the same thing with like walls of text and background on a character. I did a video on visitors guides, which is like just creating a visitor's guide for an area that your players are going to. And I found that like what I do is when that wall of text that I wrote for, you know, the actual area, I can draw from that and put that into the document. And moreover, if there's something that I want the players to ask about, if I can leave hints in the visitor's guide. I can be like, okay, well, here's a little clue to something that could be interesting later on, and maybe they'll latch onto it and maybe they won't, but it gives them the option of doing so. And then if they want more information or more background, then I can find it for them and I can give it to them. But then it's a question of them wanting it and asking me as opposed to me dumping it onto them.
Yeah. When the asterisk in the end of the guide is just like, please remember to not feed the mysterious flesh pit. And you're like, what?
Right. So, and yes, exactly. What mysterious flesh pit? I want to go feed it immediately, says every player.
So now, if they don't care, cool, move on. You've got a bunch of other things. If they do care, they latch onto it. Yeah.
Yeah, precisely.
I think that your idea on the guides is like top tier DMing of getting information across quickly and effectively and leaving those breadcrumbs and allowing players to have things to choose from that they're excited about.
Precisely. Right. And it makes it so much easier on you. I don't have to guess what they're interested in anymore. I can they'll tell me, right? Which is the best.
Yep.
And that way I'm not worried about creating content that they're not actually interested in.
Yeah. So if that answers your question, Squirtle Squad, let us know. And if not, we'll try again. On that of note-taking, walk talk. It says taking notes. I always mess up your name. I always think I'm going to say talk, walk talk wrong. Because maybe it's close to TikTok, but it says taking notes somehow only works for me on paper using a keyboard or phone. Inspiration is gone instantly. I start scrolling Reddit instead. And big same. Most of my campaign notes of whatever I'm doing is I have a little book because I do find it easier to write stuff down physically than to have a document and do things. There are a lot of other distractions. I honestly just kind of like the tactile feel of it, of just like writing a thing down. If I need to do like the big, here's my whole backstory on a thing, I'll type that out because it will take me forever to do. But yeah, if you do better on paper, put it on paper. And then, mentioning transferring it to PC later, you can or don't. Or get one of those things that auto transfers stuff. I don't know how those work, but I know people that have them.
Or get a binder and organize your stuff old school style, the way that GMs used to do it back in the day. Like all of that is doable.
Yes. Just leave note or leave stuff to do a 3-hole punch in, and then get a big binder and a bunch of dividers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, for all that I am like addicted to Miro and to using the online tools that I have a GM notebook that I physically write things in that actually has removable leaves so that I can add more paper into it as I need to.
Nice.
Because I use it a lot, and that's really like the first place that my ideas go. I find also that handwriting things tends to make them stick in my brain a lot better.
Yeah. Also, you could decorate them. Pretty cool.
Yep.
You put so many stickers on it.
All the stickers.
Viscount Prawn, if I'm saying that right.
Ooh,
It says
a Viscount.
I thought it was discount, but with a V, but I don't know. That didn't make sense. I don't know what viscount is. Is that a word?
It's a title.
Oh, what's a viscount?
It's a type of count, but like, with a vis. I don't know where they stand in the like. I'm not familiar with my like actual heraldry, like where counts and dukes sit in relationship to each other. But I believe a viscount is below a count.
You really led me down a path that was just a sheer drop off. I was there. I was like, "Oh, wow, you know what a viscount is?" You're like, "Yeah, it's a type of count." That was it. That was the whole. Like,
That's kind of all it is.
It says, I've been a DM for my friend group going on 10 years now, and something I really struggle with was transitioning from riffing on pre-written modules to completely homebrew. And can I improve, or how can I improve so it's useful to have that framework so that I can write it myself? Oh, man. Great question.
Yeah.
I think part of it is another thing of like no single correct answer. But I feel like part of it is like what did you like about pre-written adventures, and what can you take from that to add to your own? Because like that is something that I am very not familiar with. I don't do a lot of pre-written adventures because I find it very tedious to read through something and then be like, hey, here's the adventure, and then I won't retain that information. And if I'm just going like step by step, I feel like I'm being too railroady. So it's very hard for me to do pre-made stuff. So like what, from a completely outsider perspective, what about it is helpful? What about it do you like? What about it made you want to start getting into homebrew stuff, start making your own? And how can you kind of tailor how you're building that to work on the strengths that you've had from doing pre-built adventures?
I would agree with that. I have only run one module in my life, which is the one that I'm currently wrapping up. We are actually having our final session this Sunday after 3 years of playing. So I'm very excited about that. So my experience is mostly homebrew going into modules, which sounds like the opposite of your experience, Viscount. And so I would say that like you need to like for me, what was interesting about running a module is what was made available to me already. Right now, this was a very unique module. It's Courts of the Shadow Fae by Kobold Press, and it's a highly political, very social module. And that's very, very political. Most of the module is just people talking. It's been 3 years of a lot of characters just talking to each other. But the things that I liked about it, and I have a lengthy review in me for this module once it's finally done, but the things that I liked about it were things like the NPCs were provided for me, right? So I had like a huge list of NPCs. They didn't go into too much detail about them, which was perfect for me. I got to really invent and like, grow out the NPCs as I wanted, but they provided all of that for me. They provided a map for me, they provided factions for me, and I could just riff off of all of that, which was fantastic. So I would say that if you're getting into homebrew, my guess is that you've probably got a good idea for a homebrew kind of setting and location, and like you've got something already that's making you want to do homebrew. So I would say just expand on that. Go with what Rexicon said. Like, what is it about the module that you find useful or valuable, and then just take some time to like write that out yourself. Like, okay, like I'm going to create my own list of NPCs, I'm going to create my own list of locations, I'm going to create my own list of plot hooks, whatever it is that you're getting from the module. Like, sit down and take the time to work that out. Yeah, I found running a module to be very, very interesting. I suppose I could probably get some advice from you on that.
Yeah, which apparently Viscount has 10 years experience running modules, so we could both learn
That's
something.
amazing to me. I would love to have talked to you throughout the course of running this module for me, because it was to me, it was a very strange experience going from all homebrew all the time to something as restrictive as a module.
Yeah.
And this is a very free-form module too, so like not at all like railroady at all. Like it was a very open-ended module, and even still, I found like the process of restricting myself to the creator's original vision as opposed to my own vision to be a unique experience, shall we say?
Yeah, it's. Also just how do you stop people from just going completely off rails? That's another thing I've struggled with in modules.
Yeah, you can't, right? Like I just don't think you can. It was one of the reasons I chose the module I did is because it was so open-ended. There really are no rails in it. And that way I knew that the players could do whatever it is that they wanted to do and it was going to end up being fine. But I don't because I've only ever run the one module, I can't tell you how much of what I've experienced is applicable to modules in general. I know that this module is unique, and so I don't know how unique it is compared to other modules. Like I'm probably the worst person to answer this question.
Viscount, we are clearly not the best people to answer this question. We tried our best. I guess one more thing is maybe trying to if you really like modules and you are trying to make something new, can you basically write it like a module? Can you use that as your structure to kind of help build it out where you're like, oh, a module always has this, this, and this. Or like, oh, I really like how Cobalt Press or whoever does their modules. Okay, how do they do it? What are their sections? And then build yours out that way. And that could be a document just for you. You can share it if you want with players or whatever, or other people. But like, yeah, just have that be kind of a guiding star for you and see if that helps. And
Definitely.
Viscount, if that helps, if he answers your question, yay. If not, I don't think we got any more answers, so I don't know if we can do that one again. Justin Brandt, how do you handle the after game depression crash? That's a real thing. That crash. Con crash, also a thing. Post game depression crash is real. How do you have a method that you use?
Yeah, I've got two modes after a game. Either I am incredibly hype or I am just dead to the world. I call it like GM brain. And I it's one or the other, and I can never tell you which is going to be which. Like it has nothing to do with how good the session was or how much energy there was in the session. It just like one or the other. Either I am like hype up to the moon or I am just dead to the world. And if I'm dead to the world, then I will take a couple of notes and I will play some video games and then I will go to sleep, like, because that's normally we play at a time that makes a bunch of sense for me. Like I just let it be. Caffeine helps, I find, a lot to keep me going during the sessions and to keep me from completely crashing out at the end of them. Yeah, like for me, it's just a question of like going with it, you know? Sometimes you just find yourself completely zonked out at the end of a session. That's okay. Unless you need to do something, like you got to go to work afterwards or something, like I would say just go with it, you know? Play a video game and go to bed. Like, you done good. Like, let it be.
Yeah. Solid. I agree. I think that knowing what you want to do after a session, knowing that post-game depression is a thing that can happen to you, that crash, exactly what you're saying. You know what you want to do. Like, Justin, what do you want to do? Like, after a game, what will make you feel better? Plan that. Just like you planned the session of at this time, at this location, we are going to play this game. After it, have the plan of the thing that'll make you feel better or that you want to do. I know a thing for me, and this isn't always as feasible, and if you talk to your players, it might be something that can be worked into the session. I find that the crash is a lot better if I have kind of like downtime with people versus like it's over, all right, everybody go home, and that drastic change of I'm in this cool game with neat people and I'm using my imagination and we're having a good time, and then I'm driving home. And like that harsh contrast just amplifies it, and being like, hey, we're done. Okay, well let's have a, what was it, the stars and wishes thing of like, oh, this was cool things that people did. Just going, hey, let's all get some food, or whoever can just go get some food, and then you could chat about the game, some chat about other stuff, like just having something you kind of come down with, and then rather than just it's over, good luck with whatever else you're doing. That helps me a lot.
Yeah, post-session decompression. Absolutely. Like that is crucial for me as well. I am lucky that my players can hang around for a little bit and like actually sit and talk to me about the game and other things, and that really helps me to get into the right mindset.
Cool. And one other thing, just don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a me thing again, of like, oh, why should I feel bad? I shouldn't feel bad, and I'm sad that I'm sad. Boo-hoo. But like, that's how brain works sometimes. Just don't beat yourself up about it. Again, very easy to say.
Be your own friend. You know?
That's a great way to put it.
That's kind of the way, that's one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten in my life, and one of the toughest to implement. But if you only say things to yourself that you would say to your friend, you'll find that you treat yourself a lot better.
That's solid. That's really good advice. If you take one thing away from this, it's that. But if you take two things, remember it's danger manager is now the term.
Danger manager
yeah,
now.
That's that. So two things. The one is clearly more important than the other, but the other one I'm really trying to push my agenda on. So it's got to be included in there. Just not the most important. Justin, if that answers your question, please let us know. And if not, also let us know, and we could try again. There are several more questions. Thank you all so much for asking. We are going to have to stop in like 6-ish minutes, so we may not get to them all. But I'm here every week, and usually someone else is here too, so we always enjoy. Dispute manager. Danger manager. So if
we got time for a couple more though.
Yeah. And if we don't get to them, the RPG Help Desk channel in the Second Wind Discord is there, and also next week here every Thursday, 4:30 Eastern. But JR brought up a really good question of this may be an ADHD thing more than ADHD, but I find myself overwhelmed sometimes, either with just how much information I give in some background information for players aren't likely to use, or sometimes how much I have to present to the players. Do you have any methods of narrowing the scope you'd recommend? Yes. I don't know if you have something if you'd like to start, but I absolutely have one that helps me a lot.
Go for it.
If you have all that, you're saying, you have all this information, and it absolutely is overwhelming. You have your backstories, you have your foreshadowing, you have the ways you're trying to incorporate other people's stories into the main story and into each other's stories, and it's a tangled web of nonsense. You have a novel's worth of information, and if you hand someone a book, they are going to be also overwhelmed and not know what to do with it. What you want to give people is a Post-it note. It is a small amount of information that is just either the most critical or like most intriguing or something, just a little bit of information that can be processed, understood, and then the player can decide, do I want to investigate this further? In which case, oh, okay, well, now you've liked the Post-it note, here's a page. Here's half a page. Here's a paragraph. Like, there's a little bit more of kind of easing into it and knowing exactly where they're going. Because if you prep all this stuff and they don't engage with it, but you have it all set up, or you're like trying to push it on them, it's not going to be helpful to you or them. So
Mm.
a post-it notes worth of information is what you want to start with.
I would completely agree with that. We were talking a little bit earlier about doing a visitor's guide for locations in your world, and that's something that I think is about the same concept, right? Like if you can put the information that you need to convey about your world into a brochure, just like you would have for any kind of travel brochure for anywhere else on the planet, and you can hand that information over to them, that's about the level of information that your players need. They don't need more than that, and you don't want to give them more than they need, but you can use that to seed breadcrumbs, to leave breadcrumbs that will get them to engage with the stuff that is behind it, right? You have to put it in their hands, right? So give them only, like you said, the post-it note, the travel brochure, the brief, here is the summation of it, but leave a few breadcrumbs in there. Leave a few things that are hints to the other stuff that you want them to get. Because when it's a hint, it's interesting. When it's just been handed to you, it's not interesting. So
Then it's homework.
Yeah, then it's homework. So you want to leave crumbs that they can follow if they so choose, but keep it just extremely short. Your players don't need a lot. They have vast imaginations already, and they want to exercise those imaginations. So give them the opportunity to exercise their imaginations around the thing that you've created, right? And a lot of times they'll contribute things to it that you wouldn't have imagined otherwise as well. And that's what's really exciting. That's another benefit to not filling everything out all of the way, is because you want some of what your players are going to bring and what they're going to fill in, the color that they're going to add to the painting, Like if you think of it like handing somebody a fully complete painting, or if you hand somebody a piece of art and they get to add color to it as well, they're more invested in it, they're more engaged in it, they're going to want to be more of a part of it. So I would say figure out what is the bare minimum that your players actually need to know. What do you actually need to know? And that can involve being pretty ruthless with all of the stuff that you've written. You've got to be really, really ruthless and err on the side of less is more.
And that, oh my gosh. Yes. And also knowing your table, because different tables will need different amounts of minimum. There's some people that if you just say mystery flesh pit and they're on board. That's you just need the tiniest crumb of something that they'll want to visit. I've played with other groups that I have to spell out where they should go, or they will not know. Neither is bad, neither is incorrect. It is just how different tables and different dynamics and different people work. So yeah, for exactly what Jess is saying, just kind of know exactly what you think a minimum is and try and aim for it for that table. And also what you said, I think is incredibly correct, is that players want to use their imagination too. If you just give them the book report, they don't get to invest in it. They don't get to do anything with it. They don't get to analyze it in a way. It's oh, well, maybe if I investigate and try this thing, I'll discover something, versus just having the information that's well, okay, I just know everything. I don't need to engage with this now.
Yep. Agreed.
Think even if it's not a matter, I agree with you on I like being vague because I want players to fill in those blanks. And then I go, all right, that's canon. Sure, that's absolutely, they did drop out of space. Wow, what an amazing way for this to happen. Okay. But even if you don't want that, just, allowing them to use their imagination because they want to. We're all playing a game about using your imagination.
Yep.
JR saying, ruthless really actually helps me understand the sort of pruning to do. Thank you. Yeah. Ruthless.
Yeah, it took a while to get myself there.
Yeah.
But it is valuable.
And that's where I find the kind of segmenting or like compartmentalizing of things is very helpful, where you have the big idea and then you have the like the pared down idea and then you have the like elevator pitch idea and then you have the
Mhm.
broken notes version of the idea of just like a few
Mhm.
words, and that when something happens you have that to rely on to then build up to, versus
Yes.
being like, here's a huge concept.
Yes.
So if that answers your question, please let us know. And if not, let us know again. And we'll do one last question because this might be really fast. Because it's 5:30, so we're at time. Justin wanted to ask, what are your players' favorite NPCs you've created?
Oh, wow. Um, so the module that I'm currently running has 126 NPCs in it. So there are
Jeez.
it's insane. It's one of the reasons that I have to use a fairly like robust organizational tool in order to track everything, because otherwise I would just be completely lost in the sauce. I would say one of my favorite NPCs that I've ever created in general was Uncle Pants. Uncle Pants was a pantsmith. He was a normal smith, but he tried to cast Mordenkainen's wish, or he tried to cast a wish spell for Mordenkainen's mansion. But as wish spells do, they got messed up, and he basically got stuck in the mansion, able to smith things, but only able to refer to anything as pants. So he could make you drinking pants if you wanted some potions. He could make you hard pants if you needed, armor. It was just, but that was his curse, is he was only able to refer to things as pants. The players loved him. Like, they wanted to market him and make him like the most successful pantsmith in the nation. Like, they just adored Uncle Pants and everything that he stood for. He wasn't a particularly important character. He wasn't plot relevant, but man, did they love him.
That's incredible, and I like it.
What about you, Jesse?
I had a character. Oh man, I've made a few that they love to hate, which I do really enjoy. I think people got very invested in a game I was playing, a superhero game. This is a love to hate thing. I made the main villain a business owner. And they're he's coming into their town to like start a big corporation, and like, oh, we're gonna have our headquarters there. Oh, it'll be great for the local community, but they know that this dude is a supervillain and like is using this to fund his terrible things. And he was a three-headed dog man named Sir Boris, and that was a very fun. People had a lot of fun fighting, both on like oh yeah, you could just like go to the office and kind of throw down with Sir Boris and like it'll be a tough fight, but also this is systemic problems of like, oh, he's paying off like people in government. He's doing all, like, you can't just fist fight him. There is a bigger issue you also have to deal with. And like that level of like intrigue and like, oh, get this guy, like the investment they had on stopping him was like, yes, I love this.
Absolutely. Man, there's nothing better than a villain that your players actually like love to hate.
Oh yeah, I love it.
There's nothing better. It's such a good feeling.
It is. It's so fun because you feed off that energy. It's like being a heel in pro wrestling. Like you want either people to celebrate, you want to be the ultimate pants, and like they love this guy and they want to do it, or you want to be the ultimate heel. Oh, I hate this guy. We gotta stop him. Like, you just want a strong reaction. The worst thing possible is to come out to silence.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. We're at time, so that is it for what we're doing today. Thank you so much, Jessa, for coming and talking about ADD and other things. So please, before we go, real quick, fire off the stuff where they can find you and what you're proud of that they can see.
Let's see. Again, I'm Jessa. I go by Astral Marmot online. You can find me at my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. I've got a new video coming out next week, Wednesday. about time blindness in ADHD and how that affects our games. So look forward to that. I know that's an experience that we've all
Have to
absolutely had.
watch that. Oh my god.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, come and find me on YouTube, interact in my comments. I am technically on Blue Sky and other places, but you're much more likely to interact with me on YouTube. So come and find me there. I'd love to meet you.
Cool. Thank you so much. I like your videos. I really enjoy like talking to you online and being pals and stuff, and like your connections of ADHD and DMing I find, I mean, clearly I am the center of that Venn diagram, but I find it very insightful and very helpful, and I'm looking forward to your new video too.
Well, thank you so much, Jesse. I really, really appreciate hanging with you.
Absolutely. Very welcome. Thank you everybody for coming and asking questions. Please come back next week if you didn't get questions answered, or for more questions, or just to see whatever happens next week. It's always something. And you check us out in Discord if you want at the Second Wind. Bye everybody.
Goodbye.